Welcome in and thanks for joining today's Stream Elements. Welcome in and thanks for joining today Just Temporal.
Hey, May and Jess, good to see you all. So today might not be the day. It's not working right now.
For joining today, Rambling Geek.
What's up, Rambling Geek? Good to see you, buddy. I had this thing working.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, Green Wind.
On February 18th. 5 days ago. It is not working anymore. What has changed since then? I don't know. Did you update Windows right before again? I have updated Windows, but not right before. But I think I updated it after getting it working.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, Freakberg.
What's up, Freakberg? How was the stream this morning? How's the bike riding going? Boom, 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 boom. So this is the pre-stream show, okay? And I'm just gonna kind of jump right in here. I gotta close my door first. All right. Boom, 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 boom. A little bit of a pre-show dance before the real show starts. Good to see you all. Welcome in. Thank you for being here early with me. I'm trying to get in the habit of starting a little bit early, but still 12:30 we do the intro dance. So it's like this is the warm-up now. May, Rambling Geek, Jess, Frackberg, Green. Anybody else I'm missing in the chat right now? Sound off in the chat. Let me know. Good to see you all, though. Thank you for being here. Frackberg has managed to get back to pop. Instant relief from my back pains yesterday. Nice. Oh, get my back to pop. Get back to pop. Get my back to pop. Then I did something dumb. Uh-oh. What'd you do dumb? You hurt your back again after that? All right, so let me show you what's going on here while we're waiting to hear from Fracky Boy. Move me over here. So, I have this. Well, one, the thing that I worked on off stream was obviously I got it tweaked a bit in terms of the face detection stuff. What I found is, maybe if I do it in a different browser, actually. Not a different browser, but like a new... Let me open up my streaming browser instance here. And go here. I wonder if this maybe changes it. Let's inspect this. Oh, perfect. We're back to where we were last time. If I come in here and I go start playing. What I found is this needs to be like 45. And the rest of this stuff can stay at 0.5. And then something's going on where... That's fine. This is all fine. Clear that. I click start tracking, and look, all these errors are popping up. These were not popping up before. But it's like warnings. Hey, WebGL's failed. WebGL is not supported on this device. No available adapters. Initialization of backend web GPU failed. So I wonder if maybe I change this from WebGL to something else. What if I comment it out, save that, come back here. That wasn't the right camera, but that's okay. No, I think it defaults to WebGL anyway. No available adapters. What does that mean? Something must have changed. Am I using a different version than last time? I think it was 3.2.1. TFS version 4.17. Browser not got access to graphics? Yeah. Frackberg says, so my Zwift community has segment of the month, and the idea is to go all out and try and set new records. I did. My legs hurt now. Oh, okay, I got you. So you didn't hurt your back again. You just hurt your legs now. Yeah, Ramblin' Geek, I'm not sure what might have changed in that regard. But the tracking just doesn't work now. I mean, it kind of seems like it's working a little bit. And if I switch scenes back to here, and then if I look at the camera, it's not changing scenes. And these live results, like, these are normally like updating like every second. Like, it's like lagging. Like, if I try to click on the drop down, look at this. Something's not right. Stop tracking. I try to stop it. And like the whole browser is slow as Nikes, Batman. You know what? I updated the browser. Maybe it's the browser? Run a separate browser with admin rights? Maybe, yeah. Today was supposed to be the arrest day. Frackberg. I mean, I'm proud of you for pushing yourself, man. Just don't push yourself too hard where you start getting hurt, you know? Stop the camera. Stop the camera. Like, I can't even see. There we go. You notice how slow that? Oh, you can't see what I was doing. But basically the browser is like really slow responsiveness. I click on the drop down, it doesn't show the result, and then a second later it does. It's very weird. I don't know why this is happening now. Me doesn't know. What did I do? I mean, I could look at what changed. Human demo, I moved that away. I started editing this config UI, because we'll get into the details of that in a second. What's an index? I added that. That's it. And then OBS, I added the whole OBS thing. So, what gives? I wonder if this is like this and this is resulting in like a new version that got published. You know what, we can go check, right? Go to the human repo. Look at the latest releases.
Welcome in and
3.2.1 was last week, so. What's up, I Dream of Memes? Happy Friday, Clarkians. Happy Friday to you too. Welcome to the pre-show stream. So nothing changed in this. I've been using 2.3.1 since last week. You know what I mean? All right, so there's nothing like that changed. What could be different? Also had some fun with some Move Transition plugin on my stream today. It was good times. Nice. The Move Transition plugin is like amazing. Hey, what's up, Coach Sean? Welcome to the pre-show. Early bird special. So I thought I was going to be able to open up the stream with me doing the dance using this, but turns out something's different, and that's what I'm debugging right now. When I try and start tracking, I get an error. Cannot get this WASM thing from here anymore. And cannot load WebGL for backend. That failed. No available adapters. This is all stuff that was not happening last week. Could not get context for WebGL version 2 or 1. Backend set to WebGPU, but browser reports no available GPU. This gotta be something that I can change in the settings of this browser. Let me see. site settings. File, USB, MIDI devices, automatic downloads, background sync, images, JavaScript, notifications, motion sensors, microphone, camera, Ethereum, autoplay. Everything's window management, virtual reality, augmented reality, insecure content, payment handlers, clipboard. I don't see anything site specific that's saying it can't do anything. And then if I look for hardware acceleration, use hardware acceleration when available. So, and that's turned on. So maybe if I just restart the browser, I'm gonna close that browser, close all this. And then reopen it. Or maybe OBS is just owning it so much that it's like taking over. Nah, I mean. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Lost my dashboard.
An ad is about to start in 5,000 milliseconds on Twitch.
Let's get the ad out of the way.
Running for 180.
Swim Bike Run Code followed me. Thank you for that earlier in the week. And Upstate Stuck. Thank you too. All right. Open up streaming. Inspect console. Failed to load resource icon. That's fine. We're gonna use this camera. Start playing. It's fine. And then when we load up camera, hey, restarting the browser seemed to do something. We do have it. Okay, there we go. Okay. Hey, good timing. That's something that we're gonna have to look into though. All right, so now when I look at this camera right here, it should change scenes. Ready? Steady, go. Oh! All right, let's add some more cameras. We're gonna add the other cameras now that it's working. Or make it 0.45, I think, on that one too. Start tracking. Get ready. All right, we're going to be able to do the intro dance with this. I mean, there's lots of tweaking I got to do to make it better, but it's going to work. Add in the camera. Last camera. The GoPro. I think that one I needed to be 35.35. Start tracking. Ready? Ready, chat? I'm just going to dance to this song for now. It's working. You love to see it. Oh, face score. You need to make face score maybe a little bit higher or lower rather. It's not quick enough just yet. In some cases, like notice like it's just like just a second late. But I wanted to do that because if I go from this one all the way over to this one, actually that worked out okay. All right, let's just do the dance, though. We're going to do the intro dance like this. We're going to do the intro dance like this, chat. We're going to use it while it's working, right? We got to take advantage of this, so. We're going to go back into, like, starting. We're officially kicking off the stream now. Pre-show has ended. Oh, I can't look at it. I can't look at any I can't look at anything. Just look this way, Brian. Okay. Don't look at a camera. Pre-show has ended. Start of the show is happening right meow. No. No, why isn't it working on that camera? This one is working. Oh, that camera broke. It's frozen. All right, it's working again. Boom. Hands-free scene changes. I love it. Chat, you have no idea how happy I'm about this. Awkward stares. Yeah, this part I'd like to... Normally I like to switch cameras faster. I go bang, bang, boom. Bang, bang, boom, you know? I gotta get it to work a little faster, maybe. I can do full-on dances now. And I can add more cameras. Which, speaking of, I do have another camera ready to kind of set up. I just don't have anywhere to, like, mount it right now. Last time I danced, people thought I needed medical attention. I mean, that's every day for me. Every day. All right, now I need it to turn off so that I can... All right, let's stop tracking. Stop tracking. And stop tracking. Switch scenes to the talk scene. Chat, what'd you think? Hands-free scene changes by face tracking. Why did that just happen? I turned it off. Stop. Don't do that. Stop tracking has not stopped tracking. If I pause the camera, definitely will stop tracking. Go back to the talk scene. All right. Hello and welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. This is the Clarkio Shenanigans Show, starting at 12:30 p.m. every Friday right here on twitch.tv/clarkio or youtube.com/clarkio. I'm happy to have you here. I'm super excited for this stream today because, as you likely just witnessed, unless you're joining right now, I finally got something that's been on my mind for years since doing this intro dance. where I'm manually switching scenes either through a stream deck or a foot pedal or what have you. And now I can just freely dance without being tethered to some device to switch scenes for me. Okay? Or, I mean, I could have always hired somebody, I guess. That would have been another way to... I could have gotten somebody else to, you know, my wife or something like that to come in here and change scenes, press the button for me every time. But, yeah. It's finally working. So I'm super excited about that. What I'm planning on doing today is the typical flow that we go through. The typical segments we have. We just chatting wins of the week. That's how we start off the stream on a positive note. What's your win of the week? If you don't know what that is, exclamation point WOTW in the chat to learn more about that. Then from there, we get into, typically, I do Wordle because I'm competing against you all in Wordle. Don't spoil a word because you want me to lose. If I lose, you get points, okay? So we'll do Wordle. Connections we'll do together as a team, and then we get into the technical portion. And then sometime throughout that, on my lunch break when I'm eating, we'll play Words on Stream or Gartic, which is some fun interactive games that you can play through the chat. And yeah. So in terms of the technical portion of the show, when we get to that segment, I want to tweak what you just saw happen. Okay. I want to store the settings that I made. Like I tweak the tracking settings of like what the thresholds are. I want to store that in local storage in the browser. I want to make the connection to OBS a little bit more robust and stuff like that. Okay. So, and what I want to do really, like thinking about taking it to the finish line, right? And completely finishing off this project and getting it to like basically become like a service for people to use for free, because it's all running in the browser. It's not anything that like my resources are paying for. I could just have a statically hosted web page under like Clarkio Stream Tools or some clarkio.com/stream tools, and I got to come up with a name for it. But I can deploy this essentially to my website is like the end goal, I think. So that way I don't need to run it locally on my machine. I just open up my browser to my web page that has that tool, and then other people can use it if they want to. So that's the idea, and that's where we're going to work on. That's what we're going to work on for the technical portion of today's stream. But before we get into that, like I said, we always start off with wins of the week. What's your win of the week? Let me know in the chat. My win of the week was getting that working. That's one of my wins of the week. Like I said, it's been years in the making. In my mind, I think I've tried other things where I've built out like a command in chat where other people can change the scenes, but like the stream delay to the beat of the song is always kind of off, and not everybody knows about that command, and you know, like somebody might do it at the same time. You want to do another dance, Frackberg? We need a repeat? All right, we'll do a repeat. I'm down. But that's a win. That's my one win right there. And I got more that we'll talk about. But yes, want to hear more of your wins of the week. So get those queued up. I'm going to get the dance queued up again that Frackberg just redeemed for a lot of Bower bones. 25,000 bones he just dropped on making me do the dance again. Sorry, I'm reading the text from my sister here. So I got to get it set up though. And let me just double check something real quick. Chat, sorry. Family texted me. But while I'm doing that, get your wins of the week queued up in the chat, please. I want to hear what's going on in your world. What's something positive, big or small, that happened this week for you, and we can celebrate it together. Bum. Something happened with work too. We still need to get this through internal review, but it didn't. What is this? Okay, cool. Check. A 1, 2, 3. All right. I think I'm good. Okay. Dance time. Thank you, Frankfurt, for sharing the win of the week. Folks, there's more of you here. I know you all have more wins. Jess dropped a win. Okay, cool. All right, get your wins going. And we are going to start the dance. I just got to get the camera set up. We've got camera 1. Make that 0.45. Add a camera, add a camera. Camera 2. Make that 0.45. Camera 3. Make that 0.35 and 35. Start tracking. Start tracking. And start tracking. All right. Play the music, Jimbo. Frackberg asked for it, so we're getting it. Get ready. Dance number 2 with the automatic scene change starts now. Come on in. Join the fun. Big hug. Awkward stairs. Can you see the joy in my face? Yeah. Okay. Mid dance. On fire! Woo! Thank you, Frackberg, for redeeming that. Hope it was worth it. I believe it was. I believe it should be. Woo! That was a long one. Sorry, no worries, Rambling Geek. We'll get to that. It's hot. All that moving around, all that gyration. It's hot in here. I got lunch. So, we're going to do the lunch stuff right away, too. Hope you enjoyed it, though, Frackberg. It's always worth it. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's mark that one as complete. Thank you for redeeming that. And now, no more dancing right now.
Thanks for joining today,
Pranav. Pranav, did you catch that? If not, you'll see it in action because I'm going to be working on it some more. But automatic scene changes when my face looks at the camera. It's awesome. 1000% worth it. Thank you, Jess. All right, let me catch up on the wins of the week. So yes, one of my wins is that I got that finally working off stream, unfortunately, but you got to see it. First stream, I get to open up the stream with the intro dance where I can do it hands-free. That's huge. I get so much satisfaction out of that right now. It's just hard to convey that. Nah, I was away for a while. No worries, Pranav. It's okay. Well, you'll see it in action during the stream today. You can totally tell you're very excited. It is working. Yes, love this. Yeah. All right, so catching up on wins of the week. So that was my one win of the week. I have others that we'll jump into that, just family stuff being good and work going good and stuff like that. But let me hear yours. So Frackberg is what I see first. Win of the week, riding outside again this weekend. Highs in the 50s, 10 degrees Celsius, and sunny means we rolling. That's awesome to hear. Congrats on that. Very happy for you, Frackberg. Keep up the great work, man. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Jess says win of the week. We will finally buy inlines so I can learn this year. And I think I picked one. Oh, inlines in the sense of skating. Okay, I wasn't sure what inlines might mean. Roller skates. That's awesome. Congrats on that, Jess. Thank you for sharing too. Round of applause for Jess in the chat. Round of applause. Claps all around. Claps all around. Jess shared a second win of the week. Thank you for doing that as well. Jess says, also had my first productive week of February. Got so much done, and I'm still delivering stuff this afternoon. Heck yeah. Love to hear it, Jess. Congrats on that, and keep it up. Also, I saw you. I saw the announcement that you were streaming this morning, so keep that up too. It's great to see. I drew memes in green. Thank you for the emotes there, by the way. Just as you can totally tell, Rambling Geeks win of the week. I saved us weeks of dev by thinking outside of the box. Okay, this is gonna be a good story time. We have software behind the corporate firewall, and we needed to send a file once it was processed. The end user marks the job as dispatched, and it then builds a file zip, and a file zips and uploads to the customer's secure FTP server. Okay. However, we didn't get the okay to open the port. We were only allowed to send from our own SFTP server, which is in the demilitarized zone, DMZ. The fix was to create a tunnel via WinSCP. I'm not familiar with that. Is it like a certain Windows socket protocol or something like that? Onto our SFTP server and then to the customers. That was a long one. Sorry. Don't worry about that. That's awesome, dude. And thank you for sharing such a detailed explanation. Super interesting stuff. Love hearing about, problem solving to that degree of things that are like, I mean, exactly what I'm feeling with it. I imagine the feeling you're having is similar to the feeling I was having when I got this working. And glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing, Rambling Geek, and congrats, man. Round of applause for Rambling Geek in the chat. Any other wins of the week? Get them queued up, folks. Any other wins of the week from you all? Get them queued up, please. Would love to hear it. Start the stream on a positive note. Keep it going. Jess says I'll be off next week. Have a little time off coming, but we'll be back on March 8th. Nice. Congrats on that. Enjoy the time off, Jess. WinSCP is a lib/app. Okay, I got you. All right, other wins that I have. Work-wise, I got 2 videos. One video recorded, like a full-length video, and then like a shorter 30 to 60-second video recorded for our digital promotions team. that they're going to run in ads from Sneak, which is awesome. By the way, shout out to Sneak, my company I work for. I'm a developer advocate there. They are so gracious. My leadership is gracious enough to enable me. I mean, that's why they hired me on, to be able to do things like streaming and create video content. And so allowing me to do that on my own channel and get the practice in, the reps in, they're very supportive of that. So shout out to that. Check out Sneak at sneak.io if you'd like. And if you want to learn more about developer security stuff. So yeah, on that note, with work wise, like just feeling super productive, getting lots of things done. There's lots of little odds and ends stuff that's going on too, which reminds me, I have to close out this experiment that we're doing after the stream. And also I needed to keep that code space open, so I was just clicking on that button in VS Code. So yeah, Sneak is cool, Jess. I agree. Big reason why I wanted to join here. You could use, speaking of Sneak really quickly, something that I failed to even do that I got to get in better habit of, but this is me practicing it live with you all. But in the videos, I got to call this out, is that I talk about Sneak in the videos, obviously, because I'm making videos for Sneak for their YouTube account. And I need to keep calling out that you can create a free account. Like I personally have been using the free tier on my personal account for years, and I don't get anything special on that personal account. I have a work account that gives me better access to like enterprise level features and stuff like that we have, like reporting and all kinds of stuff. But my personal one doesn't have access to that stuff, but I've been using it very successfully for free without having to pay a dime and getting all the security benefits in my open source projects that any other project would get. So check that out. Sneak.io. You can get an account for free. You can sign up with your GitHub account. That's how I do it. Or you can sign up other ways too, if you'd like. So yeah, work's been going good. I've gotten a lot done, feeling productive there. Just kind of like Jess was mentioning that she's been feeling productive with her week and stuff. What else? What else is going on? Family's healthy. For the most part. We've been having like coughing fits like randomly, but I think it's just like we've been having drastic changes in temperature here, and a lot of like this time of year, there's a lot of, in our area, there's a lot of pollen and stuff that's fallen from the trees. It's like the grass and ground is like caked with like a layer of pollen, little debris or whatever you call it, all on the ground, and that just causes us to like have all kinds of things going on as a family. Not just us though, but even the dogs, like Bauer. So kind of a bit of sad-ish news. Like he's still going, he's still doing strong fairly well. And same for Max, actually, who, those of you that remember, Max is my other dog. He's a smaller, like 30-pound dog, where Bauer is a lab. He's about 60 pounds. Max is older. He's 14, where Bauer's like 11 this year. And Max, those of you that recall, Max was not expected to be alive still right now. So he's still going strong. His quality of life is still at a level that we feel like is okay. Like he's still eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, drinking water. He's kind of a little bit of playful. He interacts with you and that type of thing. So he's doing really good in that sense. I mean, you can tell though he's deteriorating, and you know, like if you look at him, and like when our neighbors or anybody sees him, they're like, "Oh, the poor thing," you know, like because he just looks like he's deteriorating. Bauer is starting to catch up with that. We're noticing with him. Well, one thing is this month is always like gets bad skin allergies around this time of year too, and so we're constantly trying to combat with that. But this year he's got other stuff going on. We're pretty confident he has cancer that's going on with it. Like we had a mass removed on him last year. That turned out, they did a test on it and it turned out to be cancerous. But they feel they got it all. However, he's got more like masses and bumps that have been growing on him that we're assuming is cancerous stuff that's going on. And you can kind of tell that he's just feeling uncomfortable, and so you combine that with the allergy stuff that he always gets this time of year, and he's been struggling this month. So you know, keep him in mind, but at the same time, for his breed, being 11 years old, he's in that window of like their expected life expectancy. And same for Max at 14 for a pug. He's a pug beagle mix. So you know, we're just trying glass half full situation here. I'm grateful for the time that we still have with them, and that we're like trying to take some moments out of each day to just focus on them, because those of you that have dogs and also have kids know what tends to happen is, especially the younger kids, let's say, if you have older kids, you can focus on the dogs more. But like the dogs kind of, their focus on the focus used to be solely on them, and then you have kids and the focus becomes more majority of the time, if not all the time, on the kids, right? So it's just kind of a, I don't know, it's a bummer to feel like I feel guilty in the sense of I'm not giving the dog enough attention like I used to anymore. But at the same time, like, it's just life. It's the way it goes. So yeah. Coach Sean says my dog is the same boat. He has to take meds for his back leg muscles to work. Ouch. Yeah, I feel that. All right, I want to eat before my food gets cold. So we'll play a little words on stream and keep the discussion going. Jess says, oh, a thing happened last week at work. We launched learnpasskeys.io. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I love the idea of passkeys. Jess says, I do the same thing for Auth0. I use the free account so much, and I forget to let people know all the time. Yeah, exactly. It's like you know it's free, but it's not always very apparent and clear to other people when you're talking about it that it's free. So, all right, words on stream. Let's make it happen, Captain. Yeah, poor doggos. I feel for them, but they've had a good life. And they still are having a good life. Baker? Oh, I know the big word, bakery. Where am I typing, though? Did somebody just get it? Bakery. There we go. No, I don't mind you asking for the mirror link. I'm glad you remind me, May. I need something where, like, as soon as I click start...
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, clarkio.
As soon as I click start, it should send the mirror link into chat. That'd be great. I need to build something like that. But anyway, thanks for everybody for playing so far. We're up to level 3. Yeah, no problem, May.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, bald bearded builder.
Alphabetically before dote. Like deet. Indeed. Indeed. We're struggling to spell niece. What are those other big words? All right, 2 levels. Thanks so far, May, Co with Sean, Jess, Pranav, and Triple B. Getting us this far. Let's keep it going. What in the world? That's a lot of letters. Nice, May. Foutful. Doubtful. All right, Z is fake, we know. Fold. Fold. Tofu. Am I locked? Oh, I'm unlocked. Okay. Tofu. Football. Spelled in Spanish. F-U-T-B-O-L. Man, I have no more snoozes left. We got an ad starting in 4.5 minutes. Told. Nice job, Pranav. Oh, Bolt. B-O-L-T. Man. Clout. Is T-O-U-L one? Towel? Towel? Dowel? Dolt. Flub. Nice job. I don't know what those other big words are. Flout. Continue. Smart. Wrath. Or wrath. Yep. What we got math. Thwart. No. So you is fake, right? What? Wham, bam, slam, jam. It's awesome, baby. Tram. Hot. H-A-W-T. Hot. So hot. Wath? Wart? Yes. All right, one more four-letter word. Alphabetically between math and tram. It starts with an M. Or maybe an R. Wrath, I think. No, it doesn't work. Rom. Star. Tham. Charm. It's okay. Skipping 3 levels. Good. Good. Continue. May with a 180. Love to see it. Ooh. Guilt. Glue. Mute. So E is hidden. E is hidden. E is hidden, and I think G is fake. G is fake. E is hidden. So mate. I want to say ultimate, but there's no I. Mutate. Team. Meet. Melt. Metal, nice. Melt. Date. Do we get tame? T-A-M-E. Maybe tail. Gate. I think G is fake, Pranav. Tail. We're almost there. 5 points away. 1 or 2 more words. We're good. We got tame. We got tail. Teal, right? Teal? Yep, teal. Male.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, Tuxedo and Roberts.
What's up, Roberts? You have cancer? I'm sorry to hear that. That's an interesting way to join the stream, though. Alright, we got... Oh, maybe... Leet? No. Meat. Mutilate. Alrighty, 211, May. Leading the way. Ooh, they're all 5-letter words. No, we don't need an ad right now.
There's an ad running for 90.
Appeals. S is hidden. S is hidden. So appeals. A-P-P-E. Appel? Piles? Pipes? I feel like appeal should be the big word, right? Z is fake. S is hidden. A-P-P. Appel? Repel? Lapel? Applies. Nice job, Code Sean. That's the one I was trying to get. Apple? Laps? Let me get laps. Apples. Nice. Laps. E-laps? No, there's only one E. Please? There's only one E. Dang. Well, there might be please like that. Yep. Like you give a plea. Oh man, we're far away. What are some other words? Oh, we did a good job, chat. We tried. We tried. Level 16. Good game, good game. GG. GG. All right. We're going to stop that now. I finished my lunch. Get right back into it. All right. We're going to do Wordle. Now, for those of you that haven't been following along at home or maybe missed some past streams since we've started doing this, the way this works is if I guess it in 3 or less guesses, I get a point. If it takes me more than that, you all get a point. And if I fail it completely, you all get 3 points. Right now, the score is... I go into the Wordle channel in Discord. Speaking of Discord, if you'd like to join the Discord, the link for the invite is behind the command Discord.
Thanks for joining today, clarkio bot.
Or you can go to clarkio.com/Discord directly. On that note, though, right now, the score is 5-7. I had a chance last week to tie it up, but I missed it. I think I just missed it. It was like, what? It was like 5 out of 6 guesses or something like that. 4 out of 6 guesses. So today, I got to do a little bit more catching up. So, start off with farts, like we always do, even though that's a bit of a handicap for me, but it helped this time. Maybe it's train. Found out where the A goes. There's no S. So I think it's like something something ART. Is it shark? It could be E, right? It could be heart. Are there any other options with ART like that as an ending? It could be apart. Oh no. I feel like heart has already been... Chat, you let me know. Is this cheating if I go and I look up... I need to know if heart has been a word or not. I feel like it has been a word before. Would that be cheating if I went and looked that up? You tell me, chat. What do we think? I feel like I shouldn't look it up. No answers in chat right now. But I feel like I shouldn't look it up. I'm still hungry. Yeah, I won't remedy. I think it might be a part. Send it. Yeah! Oh yeah! Take that, chat. I'm pretty sure heart was a word already.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, Jason.
What's up, JT? Schmerple. GG, Fragberg. GG. Alright. So, I popped this into our Wordle channel under Game Fun category in the Discord. If you'd like to join up, ! Discord command in the chat. And it'll get you the link. Make sure you put pipes in front or after, or you can also highlight it all. And then like right click and then say, actually, how do I do it normally? I think if you just select it, it pops up. You gotta select it with your mouse though. Keep working. And then send that in there. And then we gotta update this message. Edit. It is now, I'm down by a point again. We've now updated, what's today? The 23rd. Save those changes and jump to present. Catching up, chat. All right, now we get to work together and do connections. I'm gonna turn dark reader off on this. Ah, my eyes. Let's shuffle it a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got to create 4 groups of words that are related or connected somehow. I'm thinking like mint, olive, lime. And erotic.
Wow.
You don't think mint, olive, lime, and erotic go together? If you don't think so, you might need to spice things up a little. Boom. You think forest? Sending it. Hey, shades of green. Nice job, JT. You don't have a boat? I don't have a boat. Sonic the Hedgehog? Sonic Train? Sonic Boom? Oh. Sonic erotic. May says train fleet caravan parade. So is JT. All right, send it. Nice procession. I feel like it's Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Sonic. I might be off. I might be throwing things off with that. Sad panda, erotic panda, democratic panda, cactus, skeleton panda. Right? That works, right? A nobleman, democratic man, a skeleton man, sad man. What in the world goes with erotic? Out of all of these other words, what possibly could erotic be connected to in any of these words? Sad? Democratic? Erotic cactus? It would make no sense. Can't wait to see the results. This game never makes sense to me. I'm right there with you, Raymond Geek. There's sometimes where they have good connections, but like there was one, I gotta look back and I think I noted it in our connections channel. I didn't put the exact thing because I didn't want to give it away. But like sometimes the categories are just unbelievable. It's like who's the person behind this? Like, what is wrong with you? Erotic book? Yeah, but that typically those types of things don't go together. Erotic, like genre of something, like noble. Skeleton closet, like you got skeletons in the closet. Is there any other, like, the way the words sound? I tend to try and think of that. Either the way the words sound, maybe that's how they're connected, like democratic, erotic. But that's it for that. Or do they, like, are they a word that gets placed with another word, essentially? Like I was saying, sad panda, or I don't know, I'm just making that up, but like cactus panda. Best-selling book. Best-selling erotica. I don't know. Best-selling cactus. Facebook. Sad face. Skeleton face. Noble face. Is that a stretch? Maybe. Maybe not. I'm sending it. Alright, that's not even close. Because sometimes if you're close, it'll say one away. What are you thinking, chat? What are you thinking? Any other ideas? Boom, boom, bing. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Hey, what's up, Danish? Noble, erotic, democratic, sad. Alright, I'll try it, Danish. Oh, what blue might mean? What? I could see blue for democratic, blue for sad. Noble and erotic? Blue is associated with those words? Yeah, I'm with you. Blue equals sad, blue democratic. I can get that. Blue films? What's blue films? I never heard of that. You thought mood, Tanisha? Yeah. I had the same thought on that category. I don't see how erotic and noble might mean blue. I definitely can see mood, sad mood is blue, and democratic is blue, but I don't get these two. How'd you connect those two, Danish? Erotic and noble for blue. JT says cactus, book, skeleton, and hedgehog. I mean, you're right. What was the timing of that? Did you say that right? Think porn? What's blue about porn? Alright, I'm gonna let it go. I feel like if I keep asking, it's gonna go down a whole rabbit hole that we shouldn't go down. But then noble? Like, why would noble be blue? Alright, let's see. What do we think this last category is? What's the connection, JT, since you suggested it? Cactus, book, skeleton, hedgehog. The last set of words. Hey, props to you. Applause, JT. You got me. That is their connection. Well played, sir. Well played. That's like the epitome of dad joke right there. Or just corny joke. And I love it. Thank you. I want more of it. All right, I'm sending it. I don't know what it could be. Things with spines. Okay, that I can see. That makes sense. This blue one doesn't make sense to me. It's not as, there's some, I'm telling you, there's some days where these, even some of the green and yellow ones that are supposed to be easier, it's supposed to be yellow, green in terms of difficulty. Yellow, green, blue, purple. Yellow being the easiest, purple being the hardest. And there's sometimes where like the green and yellow are actually like just completely out of left field, like out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is supposed to be the easiest one? You got purple before blue today because of the spines, you knew? Noble folks were known to be blue-blooded. So, I mean, I hear you. But that doesn't help me understand it any better. All right, let me share my results in the Discord. Again, if you'd like to join up in there, play these games daily with us. Star chat helps a lot. Raymond says the use of blue in heraldry can be traced back to the early Middle Ages, when it was one of the most expensive pigments to produce. Okay. This made it a symbol of wealth and status, and it was often reserved for the coats of arms of noble families and high-ranking individuals. Yeah, I guess we are learning, Ramley Geek. Today I learned. Blue LED won a Nobel Prize. JT. It's a Glidden paint.
Welcome.
Noble blue.
Thanks for joining today's Spaticoli.
Yeah, the more you know. Good to see you, Spaticoli. Welcome in. Folks, if you're just joining in, no pressure on this, but if you have the win of the week to share, let us know in the chat. On that note, though, we are done with intros, wins of the week, words on stream for lunch, Wordle, and connections, all by 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we have until, I want to end around 3:30, 4 o'clock.
LEDs don't get their color from their plastic covers, and you can see that because here is a transparent LED that also glows the same red
An
color.
ad is about to
The
start
color
in
of the light
5,000
comes from the
milliseconds
electronics
on Twitch.
themselves. The casing just helps
There's
us
an ad
tell
running
different
for
LEDs
90.
apart. In 1962, General Electric engineers
Why'd you send me this video? A long story, but great. Great. A long video, but great story. Win of the week from Danish. Made huge progress with mental health in the last 2 weeks. I'm feeling as good I felt 10 years ago. I cannot tell you. I don't actually. Are you in the ad right now? Yeah, he might be in the ad. I'll wait until the ad's over. That is awesome to hear. It did win a blue LED. Did win a Nobel Prize. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. So, chat. We're going to wait for the ad to finish. Got 30 seconds left. We'll thank the niche for sharing his win, which is a very significant win. Those of you that have been following the stream a long time, the niche and I are good buddies. We generally have a call to stay connected every week. Sorry for being random. No, don't worry, Random Geek. It's all good. We generally have a call like every week to catch up and see how things are going. And he's been doing fantastic, and I'm glad to see it. But he should be coming back from the ad right about now. The niche, are you back from the ad yet? The niche. There he is. Hey, thank you for sharing that, Danish. Big congrats to you on that, buddy. Made huge progress with mental health in the last 2 weeks. He's feeling as good as he's felt in 10 years. So, you didn't have any ads? Oh, my bad. I thought you did. Well, congrats on all that, and thank you for sharing, Danish. I'm very happy to hear it. And I hope you have continued success there. Alrighty. Okay, so we are going to get into working on my face changing scenes. Okay, I'm going to show it off one more time so folks can get familiar with what's going on here. But essentially, I have this. It should still be running. We'll set it to that camera. I'll start playing it. Then you can see my camera, right? And then if I say start tracking, I have it set up behind the scenes to hook up to my OBS and change the scene when I look at the camera. So I'm going to stay not looking at the camera. And I think I need to change the setting down to at least 8.85 is usually it. And then I'm going to look at the camera and the scene changed. Okay? And then I'm going to pause it so it stops doing it. Stop tracking, stop camera. Okay? So what I'd like to do, and I have it in my to-do list here, is I want to store the settings in the browser's local storage so they don't get lost. Things like the number of cameras that the user added, settings for each camera, maybe even the OBS connection info. So in a lot of cases, the OBS WebSocket connection info. Also, I need to save it. Let's do a push. Git add dot git commit -m generate commit message. Add config page and update titles. No. That was awful, actually. Yeah. Add config capabilities and start a new page for it. Let's do that. Git push. I know you can't see my screen, sorry. What is the condition for it to change back from multiple faces? It will not change back. So essentially, it will only switch to a new scene if that camera has detected my face looking at it. So it's not set up to change to, like, if I stop looking at it, to change to another scene. You know what I'm saying? Partial win of the weeks from May. Taxes done, but first time in my life I owe. Ouch. Sorry to hear that. I'm glad your taxes are done. Pranav says it might be due to the, and thank you for sharing, May. It might be due to the pigment production instead of the LED one. You should watch the video, though. It's great. Okay. I'm not going to watch it right now, but as long as I remember, I will watch it off stream. All right. So we need to, I want to try and do this pretty quickly. And then
We're going deeper.
I wanted to, thinking ahead, right? If I'm going to make it more available to other people, not everybody has their OBS set up like in the same way that I do, in the sense of Does this show on screen? It doesn't. I gotta go settings. How do I tell it to not? I want it to show. Hey, yo. I want it to show. Yeah. Apply. All right, so now you see my scene. So for me, my cameras, I've actually done this a couple different ways, the way I've set up my cameras in OBS through scenes. I have different camera scenes, and that's how I typically change between like this and GoPro and so forth, right? But not everybody does that. Some people have, just like I have in this one, actually. You're not going to see it, but on or this one on. So with that in mind, I wanted to have the OBS stuff basically enable that capability of like what should be triggered. Should it be a scene change that's triggered? There's no audio on that. I'm sorry about that. Essentially what I was doing was I was showing you that in some scenes, some people might have like a dedicated scene to just cameras and all the sources of cameras that they have. And maybe they want to turn on a source or turn off a source and like, you know, that type of thing. Although when it comes to cameras and as sources and just enabling the source visibility and then turning them off, I need something. I need to write into the code to like tell OBS to turn off all the sources and turn on just that one. You know what I mean? Something like that. Anyway, the idea I was talking about was not everybody has their camera set up, each camera set up as a separate scene. That's the expectation right now, because that's kind of how I do it. But some people might have them as sources within a scene that they want to toggle on and off. Spotacoli's question, not a dumb question, buddy. How are your audio meters vertical? Let me show that. I think you just come in here and you check that. So you go into the audio mixer view, you click the little ellipses button, and you say vertical layout versus horizontal layout. Yep, no problem. Happy to help. Hey, yo. Win of the week, I learned how to do that. There you go. Glad to hear it. Congrats, Spotacoli. Glad I could help. Pranav's got a win of the week. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your wins of the week. By the way, it truly is awesome to hear. I hope you enjoyed going through that exercise of trying to find something positive that happened over the week, and it helps. I'm telling you, if you keep doing it, I'm evidence of this. I know I sound like a broken record to some people that have heard me say this, but like I very much would get into this negative cycle in my brain and just constantly dwell on negative shit. I'm not saying that doesn't happen to some degree still to this day, but it's happening way less than it ever has before because of doing this practice. And I also want to call out that like when I first heard of people doing this type of stuff, I'm like, that sounds silly, that sounds ridiculous, it's not gonna work. And then I just got to a point, I'm like, why am I gonna shoot it down? I should try it at least and see how it does. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time of practicing that and training your mind to think more positively than negatively. And you just things start coming more naturally to you, where it's like you feel more positive overall. Days are just overall more go in a better direction. It's just I'm a testament personally to going through this exercise, and it's why I don't ever miss a stream where I don't at least try to do wins of the week or call it out a little bit and share something of my own in addition to what you all share. That is the big reason why I like doing this, and that's why I appreciate you all, because I think it's beneficial to you all too, for you to do that and join in on that exercise. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for sharing that. And hearing, that's the other thing, the whole Freude, hearing the positive stuff that's happening to you all, like resonates and like it has a ripple effect to other people that are hearing of that positive stuff that's going on, or it should be if you're in the right mindset. If you're in a negative, bad mindset and you hear good things happening to other people, you got to work on that personally. You know, that's to me is a sign that you should really look inward to figure out what is it that is going on with me that when I hear something positive happening to somebody else, that makes me feel worse, right? And if that's been me in the past too. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, I'll get off my soapbox about that, but I very much believe in that whole thing. Hold on a second. I guess my wife ordered food or something. Okay. All right, so what we're going to work on right now, because I had started it off stream, is setting up a view. Okay, she did order food. I was like, why is this person dropping like a bag of food at the door? All right. I started adding this config HTML to it, but I need it to be like /, not just /. And then it should work better. Let's come over here and I go to config now. There we go. Yep. We're doing something. Let me put this in there. Let's go back over to config. Configuration page. And now we come back over here. We go to config. Go back. Oh, home should be /. What's happening is like I'm using, I don't have a server really hosting this stuff right now. I'm kind of statically hosting it with the live server extension. You go live server, open with live server, and it just kind of hosts the folder for you essentially, so that you can open up in a browser without having to have like a server set up, stuff like that. That's what I'm using in case people are interested in understanding how this is possible. Because again, what I'm trying to do is just make it so that everything is just hosted statically. I don't want to have a separate server and whatnot. All right, so now we have the configuration. So in the configuration, we want to use local storage. So let's create a config.js file. And we gotta reference it in here. So we're gonna say script source equals like all that, but it's gonna be, instead of index, it's gonna be config, right? And I think we just want a bunch of input fields. Maybe I can get OBS, not OBS. Let's see if I can get this to work. Add a form to enable the user to modify and save configuration items used in index.js and face look detection.js. Let's see if Copilot will pick that up and do it. Oh, it started to. There's gotta be a way I can like manually trigger it, right? Oh, there we go. It did not close out the form. Yeah. All right, so we have config OBS address, password, profile. No. It did an okay job. Sean, what's up, Sean? Good to see you, buddy.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today's In08.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you. I don't know why I didn't announce it, but I'm glad I caught it. Happy Friday, buddy. How's it been? What's your win of the week? If you got one to share, let us know in the chat, but no pressure otherwise. So what are some of the things I'm storing in the index? I need number of cameras. Let's make us another comment. Why isn't that gonna work? Okay. Configuration items include number of cameras. Actually, it should be just like camera configuration. How do I want? I need to think of like the data structure of like what we're storing here.
Thanks for joining today.
What's up?
Joss Diebler.
What's up, Mary Jo? I definitely think we do need OBS address, password. We don't need these other things though. Mary Jo, happy Friday. What's your win of the week if you got one to share? Sean says, I honestly am not sure what the win of the week is. Maybe that yesterday and today we have nice weather in Seattle. Hey, that's good to hear, man. Congrats on that. Thank you for sharing, Sean. Mary Jo says, I need to think of the data structure of a PBJ sandwich. I think that's good. A stack. Yes, Sean, a stack. Pop some bread on the stack, pop some peanut butter onto the stack, then jelly, then another bit of peanut butter, but on the bottom side of the last piece of bread that you pop onto the stack. That's the little clarkio trick right there. Bread, peanut butter, jelly, peanut butter, bread. Almost a jam stack. First in, first out. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, GT. Yeah. Okay. So like for a camera, what's some of the things I'm storing in the camera settings? We got the live threshold, face score, pitch, and yaw thresholds. And device ID. So we're going to have configuration for a single camera includes device ID, yaw threshold, pitch threshold, no, live. Is it live or light? What are we doing there? Where are our thresholds? We have yaw, pitch, live, and face score. Live threshold, face score, threshold. I think that covers everything, right? Live, face score, pitch, yaw, device ID. That's all the configuration for a single camera. Now, how am I going to store that? I think I just need to store it in an array, a JSON object array. So it'll be like, I think we'll have like a camera config, like the local storage name, and then that equals an array of objects that are like this. Yeah. Like that, yeah. Leave that blank. Yaw threshold. Have that 0.5. The default. 0.5. Default live threshold will have 0.55. 55 is like kind of the default. I don't know what, like we keep it in the middle, you know what I mean? But everybody else is going to be different. So that would be a camera config. And then there's going to be OBS config, which is just going to be, the address and the password. Now, I don't know if we should be storing that type of stuff. in plain text, but the idea is this is just going to be running locally. I'm not going to be sending it off to anywhere other than when it's connecting to the OBS instance on your local machine. To be fair, it works just like why. What am I missing? Win of the week, survived work politics, says Mary Jo. Hey, thank goodness to hear that. And thank you for sharing, Mary Jo. Congrats. Yeah. Work politics do suck, Coach Sean. Coach Sean says, I might take a job where I'll have to deal with work politics to get stuff done. I know there will be a lot of pushback on me. Yeah. How are things going with the job search, Coach Sean? Anything I can help out with, maybe? Let me know. Don't hesitate to ask, buddy. Sean08, do you ever work on a Teams repo and go, how did you ever think this was a good idea? I'm kind of there. To be fair, it works. Just like, why? Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, how did I ever think this was a good idea? That happens all the time. Whether it's looking at somebody else's stuff, that doesn't happen that often as of lately, because generally speaking, lately, I worked on the Big Fix Bug Bash project, that website for Sneak, and that was just me and one other guy for the most part. 2 other guys joined in here and there for some other things like containerizing it, and our scoring engine, we had that broken out into a separate Java app instead of using Node and JavaScript for it. We had people come and do that. So Rimley Geek says, I ignore work politics as much as possible. That is a good way to approach it. Coach Sean says, love, thank you. I'm in big waiting pattern with Microsoft. I was referred several days ago, but I know it takes a lot of time. Yeah, that's good to hear, though. I wish you the best of luck with that, Coach Sean. Sean08, they have an entire GitHub Actions workflow job that checks out the code and uploads the files they need to build it as artifacts. I'm just like, why? I feel like I've done that before, Sean. Check out the code and uploads the files.
An ad is about to start in 5,000.
Also, an entire workflow action job that just outputs a string,
running for 90.
not a step. An entire job. Oh, okay, I got you. An entire job, and then they refer to that job. Is that what they're doing? In like another one? Yeah, that does seem a little funky. Camera configs, we're gonna call it. All right. Let's get rid of this. And what I'm gonna say is Control I. Create. I'm using GitHub Copilot for this. Create an HTML form based off of form. Do I want a form? No, I don't need a form. All I need them to configure, actually, I just need them to configure the device ID. But you can do that. Actually, let's close this out. You can do this. I think I'm overthinking it. So when somebody comes here for the first time, maybe it's more just OBS config and not like camera configs. Because when I update this stuff, it should just automatically change that in the background for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm overthinking it. So this is just going to be for OBS. Call this OBS config. We'll just call it config in case things come out to be different later. All right, so we're going to get... We're going to get rid of that, rid of that, and we're just going to do something like this. All right, so we want to create an HTML form that enables the user to input values for each of these properties in the OBS config object. We got label for address. There's a form. Okay, yeah, cool. Send it. Accept. But now let's put that out here. And then let's see. We're going to call it OBS address. OBS WebSocket address. OBS WebSocket password. Input type submit value, submit. We'll go form ID equals OBS config form. Now we can access it from JavaScript, but let's double check here. Here we go. We got OBS WebSocket address and that. Bada bing, bada boom. So like my address, I'm not going to start entering it right now, actually. And I'll have to rotate the password on this, but then we're going to come in here. We're going to go config. And we're going to say document.getElement by ID. And it's going to be OBS. Actually, let's just Copilot again. What do I need? Create the code to support the OBS config form found in config.html file so that it stores the form values in local storage as an object named OBS config. Sean 08 says, yeah, then they refer to the outputs in another job. Like, sure, you can do that. It just seems a bit silly. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, it's a teachable moment opportunity for you, right? Perfect. This looks good to me. I think this should work. I think this should work. We're going to say OBS configuration values are stored in local storage. All right, so what is this doing? It's establishing a function that handles the form submit. It tells it not to do the default thing because what could basically you could do this without any JavaScript essentially if you had a API backend for this, and the browser, what it would do is it would just naturally, when somebody, because I gave it the type of this input to be a submit button type, what it would naturally do is it would, you know, you would also set up what is it, the action, right? You say the action and you say whatever that, like it's API / v1 / save OBS, you know, something like that, right? And then the browser will just do that for you. You don't have to write any JavaScript to do that. So in case you didn't know that, that's why we're doing this whole default. Then we say, okay, event target. So we're getting the item, the form itself. And then in the form, we're going to get all the input elements. And then for each input element, we're going to get the value of that. And we're going to say, okay, values, we're going to store those. We're going to stringify them in JSON and store them in the OBS config item in local storage. This is built into the browser. And once that function is established, so we have it written out, now we can use that function and we can say, okay, get the form and then add an event listener for when the submit event gets triggered. And when that happens, run that function that we just established. Sean 08, it is. I'm not taking it as I'm trying to keep my changes small. And and I already indicated these need some TLC. I'm just trying to save some money. Yeah, no, I hear you. Makes sense. And when you're constantly trying to like battle with those types of things, it's like you're trying to avoid being distracted too much, but at the same time, you're like, this does need to be addressed, right? All right, let's see how this works. We'll say test, ABC, submit. So now if I bring up in here and we go to application and we go to local storage, we see OBS config and its address is test, password is, get cut off there, but test. Why is it adding submit? Oh, we gotta tell it to ignore that. Let's come back over here. Big.js. Let's console.log input name, input value. I guess we know what the input name is. It said submit, right? Input name, address, value, test. Input name is blank. So if input name is undefined, if input.name, I forget. Let's test this out real quick, actually. False. So it's not falsy. So if I say const test equals, I always forget this, right? So if I say if test console.log yes, or shoot, function do if test then console.log yes. Do. All right, whatever. You get the idea. So I guess I gotta do if it equals an empty string, right? So if continue, maybe do as a keyword. Wow, I'm blanking on this. Let's do the opposite. Return because it's for each. I can return or that, yeah. Basically, I'm saying I only want to store ones that actually have a name. And how is that defined? This has a name. This one does not have a name. Or I could say type does not equal submit. Input.type. That might be a better way. What the? There we go. That worked. But did it console log the types? Address, test, text, password, the submit. So no name, submit, and submit. So if input type does not equal dot
Welcome.
two.
Thanks for joining today, Ayush Shah.
Hey Ayush, do you know about Astro Framework? Yes, I do, and I love it. To lower case equals submit. I think that's a better way to do it. It is so nice. Come back over here. location. Yep, okay. So now we're not storing it. All right. Clean, clear, predictable. So now what I need to do is I need to tell OBS here to get that information from local storage. So add code to get the WebSocket address and password from local storage in the OBS config. What do they call it? Item key from local storage using or under the OBS config key. Ayush, are you using Astro? Whoa, what happened? Accept? Where'd it go? It didn't, it like that. Do that again. Why is it doing that?
Do it! Just do it! Yesterday.
Oh, you just found out about Astro?
So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Nothing is impossible! No, what are you waiting for? Do it!
This, my
Do it!
All right!
Yes, you can!
Shy! Leave me alone! My website, clarkio.com, is built with Astro and designed by Danish Kajar, by the way. Shout out to him. And you can check out the repo for it at github.com/clarkio/ Clark. I think it's clarkio.github.io. Yep. So here's the link for it in the chat if you want to check it out. Why isn't Owen Wow working? I think it's just Wow, right? Is this password sensitive data or is it local? It's kind of sensitive in this. I mean, I know I just showed it on screen, right? It's kind of sensitive if I was publicly exposing my OBS WebSocket. However, I'm not, but I will rotate the password once the stream is done so that you're not seeing what I have here. Or it's not the same as this one that you're seeing right now. Right now, that is the password. So if you got access to my network and my PC, then you could start changing things in OBS right now. So it is sensitive in that sense, but the likelihood of that being used to somebody's advantage, given the current setup right now, is very slim. Sean says, time to go to Brian's house and connect to Wi-Fi. Pranav says, do you want to hash it as the local storage might compromise it? Just thinking. I know. So I did put in my to-do list. I put a note here. I'm like, hey, I want to, some of the things I want to store in browser's local storage so they don't get lost. OBS WebSocket connection info. And then I was like thinking, you know, I'm very security minded and privacy minded person. Is it okay to locally store OBS password in plain text for this? I mean, anything this is the thing. Let's talk through this actually. A little bit of a Clarkio security advice to developers type of thing. Anything that's in the client can be compromised. The probability of that happening can change. Like maybe not necessarily 100% probability of that happening, but there's not necessarily a zero. Generally speaking, there's like not a lot of 0% probability of a client-side thing being compromised. Okay, so the key thing to keep in mind here, especially when you're working in web development or even in app development that then talks to a backend API, anything that is running on your client side, on your end users' machines, is possible to be compromised, and the information that's there is possible for somebody to get access to that shouldn't get access to it. Okay, so if you have things that are, and by that I mean in the sense of your system's secrets. So if you have environment variable type of things, API keys, that type of stuff, you really should not you should do your best not to store them on the client side, and instead have the client make an authenticated request to your server, or that's one way of doing it, right? Make an authenticated request to your server, so for the value of that API key that you might need in the client. Or a safer way to go about doing this is your API actually makes the request to.
It's about to start.
Oh man,
1,000 milliseconds on Twitch.
bad timing, Twitch. Bad timing. We got 90 seconds. Well, when the ad's over with, let me know. Or Ayush, are you even getting hit with an ad right now? Since I'm kind of talking to you. BRB hacking Clarkio's Wi-Fi, says Frackwork. Yeah. Sean says you would need to encrypt, not hash, since it's a password that it's sending it to a server, essentially. I mean, so yeah, you are absolutely right. A hash is not gonna, or like base64 encoding it is just gonna obfuscate the value. It's not going to really conceal it from anybody because you can decode that, right? But the same thing, even if I were to put encryption in this, the key to encrypt with, where is that gonna come from? Right now, if my objective with this whole thing is to keep everything just client side for simplicity purposes right now, if I had an API, maybe, but I don't want to get into the process of, for this purpose, for this project, I don't really want to, and until there's like a direct absolute need, I don't want to spin up a server just for that purpose. Because again, at this point, everything's being done in the client. Oh, you don't get ads in your region? That's awesome to hear, Ayush. Okay. So what I was talking about is anything that's on the client can be compromised. Not necessarily a sense of somebody's personal information, that type of thing. Like you go to a website, like you go to your bank, you go to, I don't know, some health site that has a lot of your health records and information, personally identifiable information, that type of thing. That stuff being on the client is not necessarily a bad thing. What I'm talking about is more of like the system itself. If it has sensitive keys, passwords, what have you, you want to avoid storing that or sending that to the client as much as possible, and instead have the client go through some authentication flow so you know that it's a person that's doing this, you know that it's another system maybe that's making this request to your API that has the key stored at that level, because you have more control over what's happening in that environment than you do what's happening in a client environment. In a client environment, you have to assume that anything and everything can be compromised. That's not to say in your server environment that can't happen, but you have more control over preventing that from happening on the server, and more control on preventing people from getting visibility to sensitive information about your system on your server, because it's on your network or a network that you're provisioned through a cloud or whatever that's locked down and has the right security measures put in place for that environment, that type of thing, right? So typically the way I've done this in the past, in a traditional, like let's say I'm building out a whole web application and I need to talk to another API. Let's say maybe I'm making like a sports app and I talk to like ESPN. ESPN, for folks that don't know, is like a big sports company that gives a lot of data on like the current sports for football, basketball, baseball, you know, you name the sport. It keeps track of stats and information like that. So let's say we're trying to build out an app for that uses the data from that, and I have an API key that I purchased and pay for to access the data from ESPN and then I could use that in my app. I don't want to share that API key with like the website side of things in the client, in the HTML, in the JavaScript that's on the client. I want to keep that on my own server, and then for any data that I need to retrieve from ESPN and show in the website, I make the website JavaScript make a call to my API, and then my API makes a call to the ESPN API to get the data, and then I do whatever I need on the server to present it, set it up to be presented for the client, and send that back to the client. You get what I'm saying? Whereas if I didn't have a server and I just threw that ESPN API key in my client, anybody that goes to my website is going to have access to the API key. You get what I'm saying? And then they could start using it on their own without using my website. Maybe I don't care about that, but I'm just saying, like, maybe I do because I'm paying for it in this case, and somebody could just rack up a huge bill on me just for the sake of doing it, because they want to, I don't know, cause me trouble, you know, something like that. So that's what I'm getting at. Now, in this case, what's happening, getting back to the context of this project we're working on, the idea is you're going to run this all locally. Like, you're a streamer and you have a scenario. I don't know, not a lot of people have this situation like I do, but you have multiple cameras, okay? And you want things to automatically change based on that camera, and you need to be able to connect this to your OBS instance. All of this is going to be running locally on your machine. Even though I'll host this on my own website on clarkio.com, I'm thinking of like clarkio.com and then like setting up a stream tools. What's up here? Like stream tools and then like face scene changer. I don't know, whatever we call it, right? .html or something. Like I'll host it like that. But still, so all that's gonna do is it's just gonna send up the HTML files, the JavaScript and everything that goes with that, and it's not gonna talk to anything else other than locally on your machine between your browser on your machine and the OBS server or the OBS WebSocket server that's running on that same machine that you opened up this browser to. You know what I'm saying? So all of this is gonna stay local to the machine that's using it, and I'm not sending it anywhere else. Now, and I'm gonna it's all open source. Like it's up on my GitHub, so people can look at it then that way. Repositories. Where is it actually? Do I have it as private right now, maybe? What did I call this? OBS Facecam Scene Changer. I guess it's private. I think I had it private while I was working on it off stream, but like I'll make it public. I won't make it private. Am I not logged in? Yeah, I'm not logged in.
And thanks for joining today. I am Douglas 736.
What's up, Ian Douglas? That is my first name, yeah. Glad to see you. Happy Friday. What's your win of the week if you got one to share? So that's the idea. The end goal is I'm going to host it on my website, and then people can load it up. I'm going to load it up from my website instead of locally like this on localhost 127.0.0.1, and then I'll plug this all in. It'll stay in local storage. Now, if somebody has access to my local storage on this machine, then they have access to my OBS already anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other aspect to think about this. So I'm doing like this whole assessment in my mind of like, do I need to go to great length to try and conceal this password for my OBS WebSocket server? Which again, this is all... I gotta make sure I don't expose anything with this actually really quick first. So let me... Yeah, I could show you this. So this is my... Oh wait, I got OBS not showing that. Hold on. So this is going to be a little bit Inception-y for a second, but you'll get the idea. Okay. So I come in here, I go to Tools, I go to WebSocket Server Settings. What's up, Wasabi? Dev? I'll catch up with you in just a second here. Let me finish this thought. This is where I configure my WebSocket server settings. I set the password in here. I have it just generate a password for me. And then the server port. And it's just running on localhost. And then I could see who's connected to it as well. And look at all these messages in and out, identified. I can even kick this client out, which is my little app that I just built anyway. So if you have access to my machine, you have access to OBS, and you have access to all of my local storage, session storage on any websites that I've been on in this browser. At that point, like, there's nothing I can do about that for anybody that might be using this thing. It is what it is. Because again, even if I encrypted the password on the client, the key, the way you go about encryption, you need something to generate the key to use for encrypting it. And where am I going to get the key? I'm going to have that in the code on the client side. Unless I had a server, then I can make it, generate it there and do that type of thing. Again, you see where I'm going? The pattern here? Can't trust anything in the client. You can have some level of trust, better trust on the server where you have more control over the environment. So, I hope that helps. Ayush says, why even put a login? Yeah, that's a fair question to ask. I think by default now, that's what OBS does now, because some people do expose this to the internet. Like, they do expose it where they can go to like another website and their servers can connect to your OBS WebSocket server. There's a couple different services out there. I'm blanking on some at the moment, but like One that stands out to me, I'm forgetting the name, but it's a Stream Deck alternative that's just built into the browser where you just click buttons on a website and that connects to your OBS. I don't know actually if that one has to. Anyway, there's different scenarios, different ways to skin this cat. Pranav says, yeah, that's true. Wasabi says, what's up, Clarkio? How's it going today? It's going great, Wasabi Dev. If you were wondering what the title's about, essentially I built out this little tool that will take up my camera, and then when I look at the camera, once I say start tracking, it will tell OBS to switch to the scene that's for that camera, so that when I do my intro dance, where I'm manually touching the Stream Deck to switch scenes like this to the beat of the song and trying to dance, now I can do it hands-free. I can dance around and do silly stuff like that. So that's the idea. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to hear you think that's cool. I'm really excited about it because it's been a long time, something that I've been wanting to have done, and I finally have a solution. So now what I'm working on today is kind of tidying that up, and we got into a conversation about storing sensitive information in local storage, that type of thing. Ian Douglas says, had fun building and deploying a browser-based random dad joke tool with search term, etc., and a new blog post at work. Otherwise, just chilling. That's awesome to hear. Thanks for sharing, Ian Douglas. And I'm happy for you. Wasabi Dev, you got a win of the week that you might want to share? If not, no pressure, but always like to ask. Ooh, sensitive information. Yeah, buddy, you know it. All right. Ian Douglas says, if you donate a kidney, everybody loves you and you're a total hero. But try donating 5 kidneys and suddenly everyone is yelling, the police get called. It's a whole big scene. Where'd you get those kidneys from? I get it. That's a good joke. I like it. All right, so maybe we, instead of address, we just say port. We call it port, actually. Let's go back in here. WebSocket port. We assume, or well, we have address, but let's duplicate this rather. And say port as well. We'll default the value of address to localhost and port, for that matter. Port. Port. What's the placeholder? Or no, we can set value, right? It's required value equals, say, localhost. Actually, what is mine? It's gonna be like that. We know what the protocol is. Do we have them? Yeah, we just say localhost or 127. Mine's set to localhost, so we'll just do localhost. And then port, its value equals 4455. Wasabi says, win of the week, survived another week barely. Hey, I'm glad you survived another week. Sorry that it was barely, but you still survived it, so glad to hear that, buddy. Congrats. I'm glad you're here. Glad you survived. And thank you for sharing your win of the week. A win is a win, Pranav, yes. Also, Ayush, thank you for the 3 stream streak, by the way. Just do it. I appreciate that. That's very awesome to see that you've joined the stream 3 times in a row now. Very cool, very cool. All right, so we have, there we go. Localhost is default 4455, and then password. We'll get the password. What's my password for now? Save that in there. All right, so now we have address, password, port. Now we need to update this to use that. So we're gonna say, let's discard that. We're gonna say const obs config equals local storage.get item obs config, and this is now going to be string interpolated, and we're going to say $that, and we're going to say obs config address, and then this is going to be obs config.port. I don't know where that came from. That should be good. And then this is going to be obs config.password. Now we'll double check that it all works as expected. We need to default that value. I wonder if I can. Const obs config goes that. If obs config.password, if there's a value there, then we want to document.get element by ID password value equals. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. It should still be concealed, right? Oh. Uh-oh. What was the password before? Let me just put this in a comment for now. Oh, I committed this into my GitHub repo too. Hey, yikes! Shouldn't have done that. That's a big no-no, chat. Big no-no. I just committed such a newbie mistake that I had committed. And you can go to the repo. It's going to be in the repo history now.
Come in and thanks for joining today, Finite Singularity.
What's up, Finite? Good to see you, buddy. What's your win of the week? If you got one to share, let us know in the chat. No pressure, though. I don't have that because I'm not signed in. Let me see. Am I signed in over here?
Pranavgoal_29 says use ENVs.
I can't use ENVs right now, Pranav. I appreciate the suggestion. You are right. But I don't have the ability to use that. But yeah, if we look at the commit history here. Why can't I go to commits? We're going to see it. Oh, I commented that out.
Pranavgoal_29 says can't say I am not enjoying this lol.
You're not enjoying this? Yeah. Well, I mean, I always like to teach about application security, so there is that. And I'm showing you exactly what not to do. Where was it? It's in here somewhere. There, here we go, here we go. This is not sensitive information, thankfully. This is just a random GUID assigned to my... So I was using... Yeah, it's a random GUID assigned to... I use StreamerBot. And it would, like, for every action I create in there, it creates a unique action ID. So that's okay. My scene name is okay in OBS.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, Marcus Voice Coder.
Yes, thank you, Marcus. I did show that password. It's okay. I appreciate you calling it out, though. And I was about to show you right now. I'm going to show it, too. It's right here. I committed it. This is a...
It's about to start in 5...
This is a huge no-no. Don't do this.
There's an ad running for 90.
Don't do this, chat. Thankfully, this is not that big of a deal because I can quickly and easily change this password. In my, it's for my OBS server. If somebody goes and takes this right now, you're not going to be able to connect to my you need to know my IP address for one. And I need to be exposing this externally on port 4455 off my network, which is not happening because I have firewall rules that I would need to enable that to happen to go externally to my network. So I'm okay. It's not good. Like it's a no-no. Like I shouldn't do that, but the risk is very low. Yep. Yeah, Twitch, calm down with the ads, please. For the love of all that is. Did it not do the text-to-speech voice, by the way? Is that not working?
Clarkio
Oh, it did. Okay.
World.
Pranav, when you did the use ENVs, did that work? Ian Douglas says, I use that same code on my luggage. You can do letters on your luggage? Well, normally luggage, built-in locks on luggages. Luggages? No, luggage is plural for luggage. It's usually numbers, right? Digits. I mean, technically, you could make it accessible on another port to the world, but yeah, true. Could you repeat? I was away for a second. So what I was saying is, don't do this. It's not that big of a deal that I did this because of the scenario and the context of like this password. But just don't do this. There are bots on GitHub that are actively scanning GitHub, all the public repositories. I mean, this is also a private repository, so that helps right now. But if it was public, it would be even worse of a situation if this password was really a big deal, give you a lot of access to stuff, okay? Lugai, yeah, find it, Lugai. So what I was saying, Pranav, is that the reason I'm not concerned about this, and I just keep showing it on the screen, is being burned into the video stream right now as we speak. For anyone that sees this recording later on, they're going to see this password. This is a randomly generated password by OBS itself, the built-in WebSocket server. So I can just rotate this very quickly and easily. Luggages? I guess, yeah, luggages. Text-to-speech? Yes. It worked? Okay, good to hear, Pranav. That's what I was asking about. So, all right. Everybody's on the same page with me. Don't do this because, like, don't make this mistake that I just made, where you check in a hard-coded password in your code. And you commit that and then push it up to a remote repository and all that stuff. Don't do that, okay? If you want to avoid doing that type of thing, you know what you should do? You should use Sneak. If you want to use Sneak, you go to sneak.io, sign up for a free account. I use a free account on my personal stuff, my personal repositories, like this stuff that you're seeing here. Sneak is being used to monitor my projects. And Sneak Code, the VS Code extension, which is not showing right now because I think that's why it didn't catch that and yell at me about this. Because I don't have it set up on this profile right now. But you should use Sneak. It would Sneak Code. So Sneak has a couple different products, but it doesn't matter. If you use the Sneak extension, sign into your free account, Sneak would tell me I had a hard-coded password here and like give me the little red squigglies and all that fun stuff. Hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored. I guess technically, right? Because they're my employer. That's enabling me to stream right now. Spaceballs reference? Did I miss that? Oh, I use that same code on my luggage as a Spaceballs reference. Sorry, I missed that. By the way, Marcus, it's good to see you, buddy. If you got a win of the week, let us know in the chat. Finite Singularity is win of the week. Thank you for sharing, Finite, by the way. I'm really happy with how my new Retro Effects plugin is turning out. That's awesome to hear. Congrats on that. Spotty Cole says, we all dox ourselves here and there. Yep. Whoopsies. And I'm all caught up on chat. Okay, cool. All right, so where was I? I think I wanted to get the password actually stored in local storage here. Oh, wait, first, here's the link to Sneak if you want to check it out. Copy this again. I might need to get some tea. My throat's bothering me from all the jibber jabbering. All right, so now if I refresh the page, it's not picking it up. It should be showing that value, right? Is it? Where are we? Config. In here. Console.log OBS config. See if it's logging it. Yeah, it's got a password there, but it's not showing that there's a password set. Is it? So the reason why I want that is so I want the user to know that there is a password value set already. Because like I think intuitively somebody comes to this page, they might think, oh, maybe I forgot to set the password again. You know what I mean? So I just want something to indicate that there's a password value there, but I guess it's not It's not value, right? It's password. Or is that the right ID, maybe? Yeah, it is ID password. Still showing the same password. Password is stored. Why isn't it updating it? GitHub Copilot, help me. Add code that checks for a password value in the OBS config object and updates the password HTML elements value to indicate a password has been set already. Oh, yeah, so it is value. Why doesn't it show that, though? I'm discarding that. So it is value. I can just do... Oh, I should do that for all of them, actually, right? But this one I'm going to say placeholder. Maybe I do that. Let's say like this is 5.6. This is localhost 1. Submit. Please fill out this field. Oh, that's cool. I thought the placeholder only shows if it's empty. Right, that's a good call. So how do I get a password? Let's look at it. Let's bring up chat. GitHub Copilot chat. How do you get an HTML password element to show... not show the value, but like to indicate a value has been set for that element? This. I thought the placeholder only shows if it's empty. Yep. What is it saying here? It has a value. Basically, like, so like when you look at this, it makes it seem like there is no value for the password. I want to see the dots like that. You just need to set a value. I am setting a value. The value is this. It has the value in local storage. It's an input box set to it like the others. Set it like the others. Spoticles, I have to go. Have a great stream. I just got told at work to test out our new prod servers, which for my work means I have to watch a movie or two. Okay. Well, enjoy that, Spoticoli. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. It's great to see you. Have a good rest of your Friday and weekend, and I'll see you around in a future one. I am setting the value. We are setting the value. Look. Maybe it's hidden because I have like dark mode on, dark reader on. Oh, my eyes! I want those little bubbles, those little dots. HTML password element. Additional attributes. Max length, min length, pattern. One specifies a regular expression that the input's value must match. Placeholder. Read only. Size. making it mandatory. Specifying input mode. Numeric. Setting length requirements. Selecting text. Oh, a social security number, huh? Just verifying that JS is actually getting called, right? Let's double check that. It's a good call. I know it was calling console log. Oh. Might not be. Oh, where'd my password go? Submit. Hey, now it's... Now if I refresh this, it's gone. And it's not logging it. All right, so that's not actually getting called. Why isn't that code running? Undefined. Oh, I need a JSON parse it. JSON.parse that string. Because it's just a string. Dope! Oops-a-daisy. Now it should work. Yep, there we go. That was my problem. Yep. It was just a string. We need to do the same thing with port. Actually, what we should do is just config value. And then JSON parse it. It's a little safer code to write. Yep. My work here is done. Nice job, Sean. That was a good call out, buddy. Good catch. Good catch. All right, now it's working. So now that stuff's being stored. So if I do like that, I keep doing save, and I do submit. Should change that to say save, actually. When I come back, refresh the page, it shows that same value. Cool. So now, if I come back over here, oh, WebSocket, the URL WS undefined, yeah, because I got to parse it. Let's go back to OBS. We're going to say value. And then config is that. We need probably do some guard logic in there a bit, but let's just make sure that works now. Get rid of this. And come back over here. And now connect it to the OBS socket server. If I change the config value to like 6, save, and I come back here. Yeah, WebSocket connection error because I tried to go to 4, 4, 5, 6, and that's not a correct value. That's cool. So it is working. Come back. It should connect again. Yep. Excelente. All right. The other thing I need to do is, let's put this in the to-do list. Don't connect to OBS WebSocket server until tracking starts. Feels good. Yes, Pranav. Feels good. Because what's happening, I don't know if you notice right now, what's happening is as soon as I go to this homepage for this tool, that's when it starts connecting right away. And I don't want that to happen just yet. I want to wait until I get some things working before using up resources to do that, right? We'll say start tracking, then it's creates as part of starting tracking. That's when we want to connect to the OBS server. We don't need to connect to it sooner than that. All right, I'm gonna grab some food. Be back in a minute. All right, Sean, enjoy. Wasabi Dev says, do you want a message on the page when it doesn't connect to the server? That's a good call too. Yep, let's add that to the to-do list. Thank you, Wasabi Dev. Show a message on the page for scenarios where connecting to OBS WebSocket fails. Should we display connect button? Should we display a connect button? I think what I'll do is I'll have like documentation on the repository that indicates a lot of this stuff, in the sense of this start tracking inherently will start connecting, right? Or you know what, Pranav, we could be like, hey, kind of like in combination to what you just said with what Wasabi Dev said, have a label that indicates whether or not the user is connected to the OBS WebSocket. Dubsman, thank you so much, buddy, for the 56 months resubscribe with Prime. Appreciate that support, buddy. This just became a job. It did. Like the label idea, 2 birds, 1 stone. Exactly. Yep. Thank you both for the suggestion on that. You two are thinking on the same page. All right, getting back in here. So next step, so we have that working. Let's commit that actually. Let's undo. Let's get rid of that commented. Get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Maybe, yeah. We can get rid of. Did I get rid of that commented out password?
Pranavko Alumnus Core 29 says check for passwords as well.
Password equals string. Nope. All right, so I'm not doing that anymore. All right, we got that out of there. All right, git add dot. Git commit -m add OBS config capability git push. Okay, pushing it to main. All right, then we're gonna, we need to do this too. This is gonna be some other, basically, this goes hand in hand with the camera stuff.
Bearded Builder says win of the week. I missed 2.5 hours of this freak show. K to the app A.
Thanks, Triple B. Congrats on that win of the week. I'm glad you at least put the kappa in the at the end there. It's not. Yeah, that's right. It's not kappa with the K. It's kappa with the C.
Bearded Builder says I said K to the app R.
I know. I know you did. All right, but I appreciate you being here. You were here earlier. What do you mean you missed 2.5 hours? You just popped in earlier to play Words on stream and then popped out? Is that what you're saying?
Bald Bearded Builder says shut up with details and facts.
That's not a very nice way to talk to me. Kiss your mother with that mouth. Talk to your mother that way? Actually, wait, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry, I take that back. My bad, man. I forgot. I forgot the situation and context. I did not mean that. Moving on.
Bald bearded builder.
I know. Oh,
Thanks for that. Reported.
I'm sorry, dude. I like you saw me immediately regret saying that once I made the connection, like, oh yeah. I was like, that's not the right expression to use in this scenario. Foot, mouth, now. Genuinely sorry. Did not. It came out faster than I could process and filter whether or not I should not say that. So, my apologies, sir. What was I thinking about now? The cameras. And getting the configuration of the cameras stored.
Bald bearded builder says loss of the week. Granddad passed last night.
For real?
The best.
Damn, dude, I'm sorry.
Bald bearded builder says F's in chat for poor Paul.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of that. Sorry to hear that, man. Sorry for your loss, Triple B. Both losses. You know that expression though, right, Triple B? Yeah. I'm sure you've used that before. I'm pretty sure I've heard you even say that before. All right. I'm just going to let it go though. I'm like trying to backtrack now. I'll own it, okay? I messed up. All right, moving on. Now, how do I want to capture this? We can ignore the action ID thing. We need the scene name. We need the scene name. We need the camera and then the scene name associated with that camera. We also need device ID. So in this view for config, we're going to put a header above this. This is going to be H2. And this is for OBS. WebSocket configuration. And then we're going to have another form. Which is also an H2 camera configuration. And this is going to be a bit of a doozy because it's a form ID equals camera configs. Yeah. It's basically got to be for each camera. Oh, I'm going to have to do that in JavaScript. See, this is where if I had a server, this could potentially come in handy. Because then I can use like a templating engine to do. All right. See when you get back, Triple B. If I had a templating engine, I can have that iterate over a server-side variable that would be like, okay, for every camera, scene BRB. That is turned off, but I'm glad you remember that. Then I could iterate over it, but for now, we do want this submit save though, so that can be in there. All right, so then we're gonna rename this. Actually, we're gonna say handle OBS config save. We're gonna do something similar. We're gonna copy this. Say handle camera config save. And that's going to be instead of this, it's going to be camera configs form. Should call it that too. Camera configs form. Make sure that is saved. can use it in here. Okay. To OBS config form. Then camera. Why didn't it do it? Ah, no. No. To camera configs. There we go. This one's going to be handle camera config save. Okay, so we set up both forms now to like be able to save that stuff. In this case, it's going to be cameras config.
Bald-bearded builder says Socrates would say to be is to do. Can't, to do is to be. But Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Thanks for that, buddy. Appreciate the laugh. All right, so how am I going to store this? Essentially, we're going to have, okay, well, we do want that. We're going to call it that, but what is that? What is this structure going to look like? It's going to look like an array of objects, which I think we commented out somewhere here. Name camera 1. Maybe number. Do we care what number it is? Yeah. Not address, but scene name. Scene 1. Kind of like that. Oh, and device ID, right? Device ID. And it's just some value. I don't think we need number anymore. I think that should be good. Time check, we got about 45 minutes to an hour. Hold on, chat. Checking the work thing. Mark is unread. Double check. All right, so that's kind of what the data structure is going to look like for the cameras config. And there should always at least be one. So I need to set up like on index when I add this camera div, these values. But I'm going to pause here for a moment. I need to take a break. I've been sitting like this entire time, and normally during the ad breaks, I get up and walk around a little bit. So I'm going to go try and do that now just to stretch a bit. When I come, actually, we'll stretch, then I'll run the ads and walk around. Okay, let's do a quick stretch break. May, if you're there, I hope you appreciate this because you've been asking about us doing this more and more. So here we go. Join on into the stretch wherever you are in the world. You can do this sitting down, standing up if you'd like. You know, put your arms out parallel to the floor. You want to bend them backwards behind your back a little bit. And you're going to do thumbs up with your thumb, your fingers clasped into your palm, your thumb up. And you're going to rotate them down. Nice and slow. Take it easy, okay? Don't go too hard. Oh, yeah. And you rotate them back up. And back down. Oh, shake it out, shake it out. Then we're going to do the one for carpal tunnel, which is you're going to put your hands back to, instead of doing like this, where you push against each hand each way, trying to push it that way or trying to push it that way. You're gonna do back of the hand, bend at the wrist a little bit, and push towards each hand gently. feel a little bit of tension. Hold that there for a little bit. Helps with carpal tunnel. Shout out to Allison Krug. Taught that to a lot of us at a Microsoft Build one year. It was Microsoft Build or Microsoft. What's the other one? It was Build, I think, because it was up in Seattle. The other big one is in Orlando. Microsoft Ignite? I think it's Ignite, if I recall correct. Anyway, I digress. Thanks. Shout out to her, though. All right, I'm going to go take a break. We'll be back shortly in about 3 minutes or so. Okay? I encourage you to get some water, walk around a little bit, stretch. That way you're not sitting so still in the same spot and not working them muscles. Okay? I'll catch you in a few minutes. BR to the B.
An ad is about to start in 5,000 milliseconds on Twitch. There's an ad running for 180.
right. I'm back. Pranav, if you're still there, I see you asked a question. Just wanted to ask, what would you do if you wanted to traverse nested objects and show it based on a property? Let's say show bool recursion. You can check if a key is of type object, then continue with recursion or return. If not, and continue with the other keys. That's a good question. I struggle with that myself, to be honest with you. In fact, I did. What I would probably do, and I think I have an example of doing that at least one level deep, where I have an array, like what you're seeing. I'm going to have an array of objects like this, which is probably what sparked your question, and I need to find a value in that array. I'm doing that somewhere else. Where was I doing that? I think in OBS? OBS scene store.find. Yes. So there's a find function where you can say that like, and that'll let you in this predicate. So this callback function that you put into the find. So on any array, you're going to have a find function, and you can then pass in a function as the result for every base that iterates over every item in the array of scene store, right? So you do array.find, and then you can pass in a function, and for every item in the array, which is X here, I can look at the property that I want to look at on it, and if it equals my camera number in this case, then I return that one. And this should only return this is a predicate, like I said before, and it returns either an object of that, like one instance of the array, or undefined. How is there an ad starting?
On Twitch.
We just ran an ad.
Running for 180.
I don't understand. Pranav, at least I don't think you get ads, right? So many ads. My gosh, man. Okay. So then I'll keep talking with you with that question. And anybody that wants to watch this without an ad, that's hitting an ad right now, you can go to YouTube. Camera string action. So basically it's going to return one object that satisfies what's called a predicate, the function that's checking some type of condition to determine whether that item is found based on that condition. So in this case, I'm saying camera number, which would be camera 1, 2, or 3, right? So you would do that, and you're saying like you want a nested object. So if it was like this, and then this had an object within it, let's say, I don't know, camera, or let's say properties, like properties of the camera. And then that had, yeah, like source name GoPro Hero 5 or something, you know, something like that. And that is within this camera item, camera 3. I would probably, I guess one way I could do that, I don't know why I did find, oh, this one I needed to find the index on it, just to see if it comes back, if one is found. But in this one, I would update this predicate function to be a little bit more in depth than this simple one-liner. So I'd break this out to be like, open and close parentheses, so it's a function I'm going to run inside of here now, and I'm going to return, I'm going to say x.camera equals camera, and then we're going to say like end x.properties dot find, you know, like source equals that, or in this case I'd probably do index, find index of it, and then we'll say does not equal -1, meaning if find index will come back as -1 if it does not find an item that satisfies this predicate condition. If it does, it'll be 0 or more. Hey, there you are. Hold on, chat. So does that help answer your question, Pranav? Frank, what's up, buddy? Mr. Power Faces. Cameras can't resist when he is looking at them. Exactly. I like the way you put that. How you been, Frank? What's your win of the week if you got one to share? No pressure, though. So yeah, Pranav, does that help answer your question, like what I did here? I don't know that I would necessarily have to do it recursively, or maybe, or you were saying, what was your question again? Let me see. Maybe you don't want like a sub-object. I want to ask you traverse nested objects. Yeah, that's a nested object. So we have this main object, and then there's a nested object of properties off of it. So I believe I'm answering your question. So I don't need to check if a key is of type property. I mean, well, I guess if you don't know, right? So if you don't know what the shape, we use that word loosely, the shape, but basically the structure of the objects in the array, then yeah, you probably need to like say, okay, is this key the type of this key? What type of key is it, right? And if it's an object, then okay, then I can traverse that, right? So hopefully, yeah. So I can just pass the value. Yeah, so like in this case, I'm saying set OBS scene for that camera number. And so I want to, based on my hard-coded OBS scene store, which this is what I'm going to make configurable shortly. That's what we're working on next. Based on that camera number, I want to get the scene name so that I can tell OBS to change to that scene. So if it's camera number 3, go to GoPro, 2, go to the Canon, 1, go to this multi-head cam thing, which is like, it's these. This is the multi-head cam. This is the Canon. This is the GoPro. And so, yes, what if we don't know the structure? It can be flexible for various users. Yeah, so then it's still possible, and I think your thought process is accurate. Like, that's how I would approach it. I don't know of a clever way to do that more succinctly, meaning more concisely, without going through. Basically, the way I would approach it is the same way you're thinking about it, Pranav, personally. Okay, I would check the key, the type of each key, that I would traverse over each key within an object. Check the type of each key, and then if that type is of type object, then I would get the value of that. And like you said, recursively, you can call the same function back, right? And say, okay, until you get to a point where there is no child object, and you then are, you break that recursion. It stops. Yeah, as far as I can think, this is the easiest way without complicating it much. Yes. So that's how I would write the code. And then after I write that code to do that, I would see if there's maybe, and I think you're right in the sense of like recursion is probably the most obvious and likely the most efficient way to go about doing that. But there might be some clever ways.
Thanks for joining today, Coin.
There might be some clever ways to do through functions that JavaScript has built into it to maybe do that more simply. I don't know, but I would write it out that way first, and that will help me visually see how it works, and then my mind will sometimes be able to say, oh, I can actually do this a little bit better in this way, you know? So Akasha Coin, great to see you again. How you been? Oh man, this looks exciting. What is he building? I have built it already, and what I'm working on is making it more robust right now. But essentially, when I look at each of my cameras, so when I start my stream, I do an intro dance to our favorite song here, The Waves by Weymouth. And I manually will switch scenes like this with my Stream Deck. And so now, with this little website app thing I built between last stream and this stream, actually I think it's been 2 streams now, it will detect when I'm looking at a camera fairly accurately. It's not perfect, and switch to that scene for me. So what I'm working on right now is making that more configurable so that it can be stored in local storage when somebody comes to the website, and go from there. So we already worked on the OBS config. Sorry, this is not dark. we already worked on the OBS configuration storing in local storage, and now we're working on the camera configuration that's set up here, because you can have more than one camera. So by default, it starts with one camera at least, and then you can add cameras. And so we need to start storing that in local storage. Yep. Hey friend, I'm hanging in there. How are you? I'm doing well too. Glad to hear you're hanging in there. Bernard says has property method in JavaScript. However, it only works in one level, I guess. Yep. That is true. There has property. But again, you
underscore 29 says camera is not on screen.
Right, good call. I was showing this. I meant to show this. So we already have the config being stored in local storage for the OBS connection from this website to your OBS WebSocket server. But then there's the camera side of things that we're working on next for configuring what are the thresholds for determining when a face is looking at the camera, and just other camera details, what camera number it is and that type of thing. So yeah, just local storage. This is all going to be running in somebody's browser on their local machine. It's not something that I'm going to be hosting on a server necessarily. I'll host it on my website as like a static resource, but outside of that, I don't have any reason to store it elsewhere or set up an API server at this point. Local first database. Have you checked out Fireproof storage? I have not. What's that about? I'm willing to check it out. I'm always excited to learn of new technologies and tools that are out there for us. But for the purposes of this application, let me show you. Like the configuration that we're doing is just storing JSON objects essentially right now. And they're very simple. It's not going to get more than like, unless somebody has like, I don't know. I doubt any. Is there anybody? Maybe that one, what's that drummer dude that made Atom? I'm blanking on his name. But that has like, I don't know, a couple dozen cameras. I think that's like the extreme. Might be a good fit for this. Okay, yeah. Feel free to drop a link in the chat for the Fireproof storage stuff, and I'll check it out. All right, so cameras config value. We need to, when on the index page we set up a camera, we need to set these values into the local storage array. So we're going to add a camera div. Anytime we add a camera div, we want to also add camera to add camera config to storage. Fireproof.storage. Let's check it out. Real-time database runs anywhere. Open source embedded JavaScript database for web applications. Build features faster. NPM install. Use Fireproof. Nice. Sync live data between your UI and your backend. Multi-writer application. Start building in the browser. Deploy anywhere. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I could definitely see this being useful. I just don't know that it would apply for the needs that I have right now. This is very, like, what I'm doing is like way simple, and local storage is like sufficient, I think, right now. But this is definitely interesting. Connect to any cloud. LLM notebooks and workflows. I like this. Local first generative AI. Wait, what the heck does this do? It does more than storage, right? What does that mean? Let me read it, I guess, right? Local first is the next generation of machine learning. Fireproof is a great fit for local applications that can easily add group sharing and collaborate. Okay, I got you. Web GPU stable diffusion we're working on. Interesting. Light up your data. Like that little cool animation. Alright, I'll leave that tab open so I can explore it further another time. Alright, so in here, I think we're gonna set we're gonna create a const camera config equals this, and we're gonna have device ID. I'm just gonna be blank right now. Live threshold, yep. Base score threshold, yep. Pitch threshold, yep. Yaw, give me the yaw. Yaw, there it is, yaw. And I think I want to default these to like 45. 45. Now, come in here. This is live threshold, so we're going to say camera. Oh, thank you. Camera config dot live threshold. Camera config dot face score threshold. Good old GitHub Copilot. For this use, it could be a slightly more durable version of local storage that users could share between devices, for example. Well, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Do you feel or know of a lot of people that will, I guess, in the situation where somebody streams from multiple devices, and so like maybe you stream from a laptop at one point and then a desktop another point. When you're at home, you stream from a desktop. When you're, I don't know, out in the office or something like that, you stream from a laptop, and you wanna sync the configuration settings. But at that point, your configuration is going to be different, right? You probably won't have the same set of cameras hooked up to a machine in the office that you do versus a machine at your home or something like that. I don't know. I think that's definitely a future thing at this point right now. My wife got a smoothie, and it's tasty. It was like almond and peanut butter and strawberry or something like that. You don't taste peanut butter right off the bat when you take the first sip, but like the aftertaste is peanut butter. Very interesting. All right, here we want camera pitch threshold. Oh, camera config dot pitch threshold. Yep. I love the strawberry smoothies. Yeah, for now. Akasha says, yeah, that makes sense. I'm imagining if this becomes something people rely on for stream, they will want to know they can back up their settings. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, because like if they, yeah, that's a very good point. In the sense of being more durable, where if they get rid of that browser, then all those settings go away because it's on the local storage of that browser. Or, but then the other thing is like how, then I would have to create like a login, right? So that I can associate those settings with that user. That's all future. I'm getting ahead of myself, I think, thinking that way. Let's get it to be like a good production ready thing first. And then look into those types of interesting scenarios. All right, camera config yaw threshold. And I think that is it. For that device ID, and we should do camera, let's say camera number, camera tracking count. The device ID, we'll have to update that once this is all done. We're going to store this. So we're gonna say const camera configs big value equals that const cameras config equals JSON parse.
Welcome in and thanks for joining today, Buried Wiener.
Hey, Barry. Happy Friday to you, too. Happy Friday to you, too. How's it going? Akasha says, Fireproof does some fun stuff with cryptography to make it so you don't necessarily need logins. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Well, you know, I definitely appreciate the suggestion. I just think, and I think you can agree, that we can look into that further when we got to cross that bridge, you know? This generated some code that I don't want. I want to just say cameras config dot push camera config. Because this should be an array. We push that into the array, and then local storage set item. Yep, like that. Triple B, does fun stuff with cryptography include Bitcoin mining? Kappa? All right, let's see if that's getting set in there properly. We'll look at local storage here. Cameras config, null. Not looking good. What am I doing wrong? Saying get item. Oh, right. If there is no item, if cameras config, we need to. All right, so if it exists, otherwise else if it doesn't exist, we're gonna say let. Right, and then we're gonna say cameras. It's confusing. We have multiple cameras. Maybe we should rename that to camera configs. Camera configs makes more sense to me. Camera configs value. Camera configs. Configs. Equals that. Yep, that's exactly what we want. And we're gonna say camera configs, stringifying it. And then we need to do the same thing. Not here, but in here. Call it camera configs. Akasha says it's fine though because crypto is a scam anyway. Triple B, passwords in plain text is the future. How'd you know? Oh, we got an error. Promise cameras config values not defined. That's a problem. I guess we should check if that has a value too.
Core 29 says line 29.
Line 29. Camera configs. I think we're still getting an error. Camera 24. If camera. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Delete this. Alright, so now we have camera configs. We have camera number 1. Device ID is blank right now. We should probably set it to whatever it is by default. Check the previous file. I think we left one var change. Talking about in this one. Or the one that I caught before, just a moment ago. Camera configs. Yeah, we changed it. Okay, cool. I got this one now too. All right, so we're doing that. We need to set the device ID. Where can I do that though? Populate camera options. Oh yeah, you know what? So what we should do then is, after we do populate camera options, that's happening synchronous. Oh, it's asynchronously. We're gonna await that, and then go and get whatever the camera select value is, and set that to the device ID. We're gonna await this, and then instead of this happening up here, should probably abstract this away into a function at this point. this out. Bring it down here. This is where I prefer TypeScript. Yeah. Probably overkill for this. Exactly. Like, I just wanted to get something up and running in plain old JavaScript for this. And if I were to add TypeScript into here, that would add a whole extra step to what I'm trying to do. But it could be beneficial to catch that type of stuff for sure. All right, so now what I want to do is we're going to say, before we do this.
And thanks for joining today, Roy Lisi.
What's up, Roy Lisi? Good to see you. Welcome in. Happy to have you here. Folks that are just joining, what's your win of the week, by the way? I've been blanking on asking that. If you don't know what that is, type exclamation point WOTW in the chat. Something we do more so at the beginning of the stream to start off on a positive note, but it is definitely welcome throughout the stream for folks that join later on. So check it out. So what I want to do is I want to get, what is that item again? Document.
3, 2, 1.
Thanks for the high five, Pranav. Missed you. Yeah, Roy, it's good to see you back. Roy Lisi's win of the week. Projects closing. Stuff I made 3 months ago for future me works so nicely. That's awesome to hear. I'm surprised and happy with myself because I thought it was a waste of time back then. There you go. Congrats on that. Glad to hear it, and thank you for sharing. All right, we got about 20 more minutes before I got to get going, so let's see if we can knock this out. Hey, Pranav, thanks for doing the applause on that, too. The select ID, which we're passing in, so we want to do that, essentially. Back to where we were. We're going to do this. Actually, we already have the select. Where's select? So we just get select.value. So we're going to say value? Yes. Right, and we're going to say camera config dot device ID equals that. That way, whatever it is set to at the beginning when we create these HTML elements, it will get stored right away. So we come back in here and we look. There's no device ID. Whoa, why is there 10? Oh, okay. We should have some logic. That's because this has been refreshed like 3 times and I'm adding one every time. We should have some logic to check for, we do have device ID in there. So we need to see if there is already a camera in there with that device for that device ID. That's what we need it to be before we go pushing it. So, if camera configs end camera configs dot length greater than 0. Okay, that's great. End camera configs dot find or index. How did I do it before, right? Find index, yep. Not camera number, but instead I want it to be device ID. Control D, device D. We're gonna say, we're gonna say this equals. We want it to not be found, basically. All right. So the logic here is we want to make sure we get a JSON object out of that. If there's an error, well, we should probably have some guard logic to make sure that that doesn't, like if I go in and delete this, and I refresh the page, and I refresh the page, so now we can see it's only adding, it's not adding more than one instance of that camera config. All right, so my logic's good. So So we make sure that we get a JSON object parsed from that, and it's array, so that this tells us it's an array because it's got a length greater. Let's say greater than or equal to 0. No, it's greater than 0, because if it was 0, then we're gonna push it on there anyway, or we're just gonna initialize it and then push that into local storage. If it already exists, though, actually, this logic might not be accurate. It seems to be working, sure, but I don't know if it's accurate. If we have camera configs, if it's an array that has more than one item, meaning it has existing camera configurations in the array, and it does not have a configuration for that device ID, push it onto the array. Otherwise, it's an empty array, right? Well, no, not necessarily. Well, if it equals 0, then it is an empty array. So yes, we want to initialize it. So that is correct. In the case where... So we need one more... Alright, thinking through this. If it does find it, so if this comes back as like an index of 0 or 1, this is going to fail. And it's going to override. This is a problem. It's going to override the camera configs array. So like if I had another device on there, let's say device ID 2, that's going to get removed essentially. We don't have to check the length, I guess. Yeah. I guess we don't. Yeah, because if we do, you're right. That's a good point. All right, we're saying we have a... We're always going to push, right? We don't need an else. If we have an array, which can be empty or of other items, and that array does not have an item in it where the device ID equals this device ID, then we're going to push it. And then that's it. That's the logic. We don't need any more than that, right? What do you think, chat? I think that's accurate. Double check this. Let's delete it. We refresh, it's null. Okay, so that didn't work. I guess, so that means camera configs is coming back as empty. It's console log. Yeah, it's null.
Pranavko Alundus 29 says because find return false and we don't push in that case, so we need else case as well.
Yep. We need else. It's like else we're doing that. What I don't like about this is what if I have... Alright, let's test it with more than one camera, though. So if I add another camera... It's not... Why isn't that working? Yeah, add camera div. Oh, did it just replace it with that one then? Yeah, see? So it replaced it with camera 2 now. So it's completely overriding it whenever I add a camera. Ready? I'll add another camera. Now it's camera number 3. So the logic is wrong. Why is my brain not braining? The kids are home. Let me close the door. So camera configs JSON parse. So we're saying, hey, let's make sure we have something. I guess we need a scenario like if this comes back as like if this is null configs, then we're gonna say this. That's what we should do with the logic, right? Else if that. And I think that's it. Right, so we're initializing it with something if there is no camera configs. Like if we try and parse this and it comes back as null, well then we got to initialize it. We're going to say it's an array of this, at least this first camera config. Otherwise, okay, we get something back. And we're going to say, okay, can we find that config in for this camera based on this device ID in the array? We can't. Okay, let's push that on there and then let's update and set the local storage item with those changes now. JSON stringify it. You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. We don't need any of the else condition. We need this else if condition because it's very specific. We need to make sure that, okay, we have an array now. Does that array not have this device ID in it? Okay, good. Let's push it in there. If it's already in there, then I don't know. What should I do if it's already in there? Update the camera. We might need to do something to it if it is found. If this comes back as an index greater 0 or more, greater than -1. Let's see though. Let's test it. All right, so now
_29 says, okay, just do say the condition for better understanding that will help us think more broadly. Now I am not fully understanding what we are checking.
Roy Lee says, oh goodness, so many .append child. I know. That's what happens when I'm building it out in JavaScript. Again, if I had a server and I was doing using some type of templating engine, this would not be as overwhelming, but it works. It can be it can probably be brittle code, especially if I need to start changing things. Again, it was just getting it working right now. We can make it more robust, and that's kind of what we're working on right now. So Pranav, we're saying, let's see if there is a camera configs item in local storage, right? We get a string value back and we try to parse it into JSON. If that works, that means that it was already set previously. There was already at least one other camera in there in local storage, right? Because it's like, again, the scenario is somebody comes to the website for the first time. They've never set it up. We're initializing it, and that's what we want to do right here, right? But let's say they come back. Because what ends up happening is when I load up the... Actually, I'm going to need to change my logic. Right now, when I load up the website, I have it automatically call right away this function, add camera div, find all resources. So at the very bottom of this index.js file that gets opened up on the main page, I tell it to automatically add a camera right away. I need to change that moving forward, but as of right now, that's what's happening. The reason I need to change that is if basically this needs to happen, I need to call this for every camera that's found in the camera configs. That's how this is going to change. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself still. I'm thinking about this wrong too. Shoot. Very thought-provoking questions and ideas, Pranav. So thank you for being here and chatting along with me and your interest in this right now. But this should work right now as is, right? So knowing that that's the case, when somebody comes to the page for the first time, it's going to automatically add the whole camera div, all of this mumbo jumbo that's going on here, this messiness. It's going to generate that HTML, add it to the DOM element, or the DOM page, DOM as elements, and then set the configuration, update the configuration to indicate we have this camera now. So if we come here, if I step through this and I refresh the page, you can see this is staying the same now. So it's not being updated. It's camera 1 with that device ID, which is for HDMI 3. If I delete this and I refresh the page, it's going to insert it. It's going to recognize it's not there. So it's working as expected. If I add another camera, this should have added another camera, and it did not. So that's where that other else case, I guess, needs to come into play. But that should hit here, right? It should be like, okay, there is, oh, maybe it's the same device ID. Is it the same device ID? That's why. If I change it to this one, I mean, I might need to change my UI around. In the sense of, I need to move this drop down to be like a parent item right by the add camera, and I select that and I click add camera, and it adds the camera based on what's selected here. That's what I think I need to do. What's up, Chris Jones? Good to see you, buddy. Happy Friday. What's your win of the week if you got one to share? No pressure otherwise. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and I think that will fix our situation here. Add camera button. What we're going to do is we're going to say, where's our select? We changes the config.js before for the prop access explanation. Can that also introduce problem? I'm not sure. Hey, thank you for the following. So, software. Welcome in. Happy to have you here. Where's the select? Right here. So I need to move this out. I'm going to set this based on this is just going to be the same select. I don't care about the ID. We'll just call it camera select. Don't care about that. Just append it. And now when we click on add camera, what is that doing? It's attaching it to the video? It doesn't even use the video. We don't need that. Oh, what I was doing is if I change it, it updates that for each video. No. All right, we're going to do this. And can I call populate? I take this function and move it up. Oh, we need that. I need this function too. X. And move this up here. And after that, oh, camera div is undefined. No, because we don't want to append it to the camera div. We want to append it to want it to be right before cameras. I want it to be, let's grab that. No, we'll just grab the body. Actually, I just hard code. Why am I generating this on the fly? I can just put it in the HTML itself. Duh. We're gonna have right here. So in here, we're gonna have a select. It's gonna be made in the same way that we're doing this. We're giving it an ID of camera select, and then we'll call populate camera options on that select ID. Yeah. All right, chat. I'm gonna say camera select on this real quick. We're gonna figure this out and then we're gonna call it, because I am at 3 minutes at time of when I want to stop. Set that rule for myself. That's what I'm doing. That should be good. Why is that showing like red? That was weird. So we don't need to do that. Get rid of this. And basically, we can immediately call at the end, I guess. Instead of doing add camera div, we say populate await, populate camera options. Now the problem is we need that ID of this select. ID equals camera select. There we go. So now what'll happen is when I click on add camera, I'm going to set that up to grab whatever the device ID is on this element. Back to add camera. Let's put this back up. There. When we go to add camera div, we're going to where is it being used again? Select. Where's select? Select ID. We know the select ID is going to be... We don't need to call this anymore. And in here, we're going to say document.get element by ID camera select dot value. And it will add that device ID to that, and we should be good from there, I think. Let's try. I think we got an error.
Pranavgo_29 says down. I sent the message without selecting.
Oh, just wanted to highlight. We changed the config
Just
before.
wanted to highlight. We changed the config.js before for the prop access explanation. Can that also introduce a problem?
Can that also introduce a problem? Maybe. I don't know yet. I think I see where you're going with that, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We're probably gonna have to modify things there. Yes. There was, what's the error again? Toggle play for camera. Toggle play for camera. We got the event. Probably trying to find a selected camera. We don't need to do that. We can. This is where we're going to get the device ID from local storage again. So instead of this, let's say const camera configs const config for this equals find that based on the camera number. And then we can get config.device ID wherever it's looking. Config.device ID. Selected camera. Element value. Yep. Device. That should work now. If I do this, I say add camera. I was saying 2. Properties of null. Camera. Oh, why is that still being called? Did it not update? Oh, I just need to get rid of it. That's why. Did it not get it? I think because it's thinking it's camera, it's a different camera number. Oh, I need to set that. You know, if I set this to 0, might help. There we go. Now it's down to 1. Alright, but it's still not finding it. On 249. Do we have camera number in there? Are we storing that? Yeah, camera number. Oh, we're gonna need to delete these maybe. Okay, now we added the camera. So let's console log. Config is undefined. Console.log. Yeah. Oh, it's 2 freaking of the same numbers. All right, I'll sort this out. It's just something stupid with my logic that I'm doing, but I got to get going, chat. I don't like ending on a note where I don't have something complete, but you get the idea of where this is going. I'll probably work on this off stream. But we did make some good progress in the sense of like we have.
_29 says, won't device ID be more robust here?
Yes, absolutely. I think I need to lean on that instead of camera number right now for that. whatchamacallit, you get the idea. And we made some good progress with like OBS connection information being stored, local storage, so I don't have to keep hard coding that or setting that over and over again. And so the next step that I'm going to do between now and on next stream, although next stream will be March. Actually, I'm not here next week. But between now and next stream, which will be March 8th, will be the next stream I'll be back. I might do a co-working stream to make up for missing next Friday. I got a field trip with my kiddo next Friday, so I won't be here. Okay, chat? So just a heads up. What important news did I miss? Just that I'm not going to be here next week. So no Friday stream on March 1st because I'm going to be going to a field trip with the kiddo. But I will be back on the 8th, and keep an eye out for me to do a co-working stream sometime next week to make up for missing on Friday, because I will be here Monday through Thursday, like doing normal work stuff. So I'll try and carve out some time around some of the other work that I have to do to get a stream in.
David Builder says new win of the week. No stream next week. See to the app A.
Thank you, Triple B. I see. Say hi to the little one. I hope you all enjoy lots. Yes, thank you, Release. Appreciate that. Have a good trip enjoying the project. Yes. Glad to hear that, Pranav. I'm enjoying you hanging out and chatting with me about it and giving me those suggestions and all that fun stuff. So thank you for pair programming with me in a way. I hope I get a notification. Don't want to mess up my streak. You should. Yes. It will always I mean, I'm assuming, May, you're in Discord still. I know we still have to sort out that problem. I'm sorry. I keep putting that off. But hopefully you're still in Discord and you get those notifications there. If not, following on Twitch and getting the notification turned on there will help you. Which reminds me, if you're watching the stream right now and you haven't followed already, be sure to do so now over on Twitch. And if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get more announcements for the lives that happen on here and for videos that I'm producing on my own personal channel. So thank you all for that. I hope you have a good rest of your Friday and weekend. Thanks everybody for sharing your wins today. Thank you for the follows, subscriptions that were happening today, or if you were just lurking, everybody that was chatting with me. It means a lot to me. I appreciate that support and all those free ways and some paid ways, although I don't push that stuff. So I definitely appreciate all of it, but encourage you to do it in ways that are best fit for your situation, and that's free. I like free stuff, so why not? Free support. That doesn't cost you anything. In any case, I will be back on March 8th with a potential co-working stream throughout the week next week. If I don't see you, though, have a good rest of your weekend and next week. I'll see you when I get back. Thanks for watching, and I think that's it. Did I cover everything? Oh, join the Discord. Discord's the best place to get announcements, like we were just talking with May about. If you want to get updates on that, clarkio.com/Discord for the invite. It'll redirect you over to the discord.gg link. And you can keep in tune there, play Wordle with us, play Connections with us, and just chat about stuff. Ask me questions. It's the best way to get in touch with me. That's the thing I frequent the most than anything else. I don't really go on social media that much anymore. Although I am up in my time on LinkedIn nowadays, but that's a whole nother story. All right, folks. Thank you again. Hope you have a good rest of your Friday and weekend. Peace.